But I was on the team that got weed legal here in Washington State back in 2012. And I want to say something about the incumbent, Rick Larson. Even though now he is supporting the MORE Act in Congress to federally legalize it, before he got pressured by me to run, 4 times he voted to allow the Department of Justice to prosecute for cannabis in states where they had already legalized it. So he is behind the curve on this issue.
There is nothing that this LCB, that this agency has hated more than co-ops and nickels. I'll say nickels in here, people who look like me. And you've shown it empirically. This goes back to the days when Art West busted you guys for withholding information and the clandestine meetings you were having in violation of the Public Meeting Act. And you were all running around down there in the South End, finding out ways to shut blacks down and all the medicals down there. And you had Jenny Durkin, like I said before.
Second District Congressional candidate Jason Call stopped by the House last weekend for a frank chat about his role in pushing I-502 through legislation and his current regret over having done so. We also discussed the upcoming audio documentary produced by my colleague Anne Continelli out of Boston, and we discussed him standing in solidarity with me as I present at 420 Funk as lead-in speaker to Vivian McPeak. Now, he might not be able to make it that night as his band is playing on the Peninsula, but don't worry, he and I will be part of the team that exposes all of this fraud and abuse that is a hallmark of National and PNW Cannabis abuse, of the original pioneers, blacks, and medical cooperatives, and the Washington State Liquor Cannabis Board's activity in all of it.
Well, in 2019, we get burglarized 5 times and report all of them. They're caught on surveillance camera. Tamara O'Connor and Paul Ware are caught by Detective Mike Hansen from the Anacortes Police Department on camera, breaking into our cooperative, filling up a freezer with cannabis, putting it in the back of a truck, and driving away. Not only that, we were located at Suburban Propane, and they took a 100-gallon or 100-pound tank, I don't know, a big tank of propane, stole that as well. This is all caught on camera. None of those things I have problems with. But after the 5th burglary, the 4th and the 4th burglary, 4 burglaries in 20 days, I go to the Anacortes Police Office Department to file a complaint against the officers because I think they're participating in the break-ins. I had already given them the video surveillance footage and they refused to apprehend or even bring to court Tamara O'Connor or Paul Ware for the theft of Michelle Larson's cancer medication. We're beyond ourselves. I went to the mayor's office 2 days in a row to file a complaint against the Anacortes police officer in the police station one day. The last day I left the mayor's office, as I was leaving the mayor's office trying to file a complaint against them, I was ambushed by 3 Anacortes police officers who broke my shoulder, hip, and foot. Those same 3 officers then used this fraudulent testimony from Shannon Angel, which was put out on July 25th, 2019, on the same day you guys are sending me this document, July 25th, 2019, telling us that the Office of the Attorney General for the next stage in this process. So you're instructing us how to proceed into court, but on the same day, Shannon Angel is telling Officer Frank Black that we're an illegal cooperative so they can raid us the day before we're in court with the board on a boundary line dispute. And during the execution, the officers who broke my foot, shoulder, and hip were the ones that swore on the search warrant that we were a legal cooperative using Shannon Angel's email. And I don't know if this is true because all of the documents we ever got was from you guys that said Washington State Liquor Cannabis Control Board, Washington State Attorney General. Every document we have, our registration all has, these are original documents. This is our Cannabis Liquor Control Board registration. They're saying we never registered or were never licensed, and so we can't file a complaint. We need help from the board here to settle this.
About 1,000 feet. instead of trying to help him, I already know that you're in litigation to fight him and run him over too. It's what you do. You don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Down at some protesting, yeah.
Okay.
In Marysville. And
Yeah, you know, you look very familiar.
Yeah, the ones up on the rooftop.
Yes, with Chris Anderson.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
the one.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, folks, we're at KingCast, politics, justice, puppies, lifestyle, whatever you want to call it today. And I'm here with Jason, to whom you make the call. Jason, to whom you make the call when you want justice.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Tell me what you're doing, and then we'll talk about the cannabis situation.
All right. So I am canvassing because I'm running for Congress in the 2nd District. I'm running for the 3rd time, but this is my first time running as a Green. I ran twice before as a Democrat, came in 3rd place in this top 2 primary. So I have left the Democratic Party for a lot of reasons. But I was on the team that got weed legal here in Washington State back in 2012. And I want to say something about the incumbent, Rick Larson. Even though now he is supporting the MORE Act in Congress to federally legalize it, before he got pressured by me to run, 4 times he voted to allow the Department of Justice to prosecute for cannabis in states where they had already legalized it. So he is behind the curve on this issue.
And check this out. So around the same time, Jenny Durkin, you should see my last presentation at the Liquor Cannabis Board last week. I was down on Wednesday. I'll shoot it to you.
Okay.
Jenny Durkin was out there writing go-to-hell letters as a federal prosecutor in violation of the Ogden memo, which basically said you should not be messing with state stuff. This is back in the medical era, before the Ogden memo.
Yeah.
So you had before the Cole memo, Ogden, then Cole. Anyway, bottom line is, so our buddy Anne Continelli, we've worked on justice projects. We got a guy freed. We were part of a team that got a guy freed after 30 wrongful years of imprisonment in Massachusetts. And she's doing a big audio documentary of all of this. And she's going to interview you.
Thank you. That's fantastic. I would love to interview anybody on the weed issue. Listen, I've been a user since I was 14 years old. Never did me any harm.
Hello.
You know?
Except you came to believe in justice, so it must have fucked you up somehow.
Well, it's part. It builds your consciousness, right?
It does.
Builds your consciousness for justice. And I did grow up in a conservative background, and it did a 180 for me.
Opened your eyes, didn't it?
And I say that's why they want to keep it legal more than anything.
Well,
I mean illegal.
Illegal, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just it's a big hornet's nest. And we're gonna follow up more.
Yeah.
But right now, those guys,
That's my dog, too.
Pepper,
My
you
dog
guys
does the
have
same thing.
had enough of a chat.
Barking at the neighbors. But listen.
Yes.
Send me an email, jason@callforcongress.com.
Is it on here?
It's not
on this
there.
one.
My website's on there.
Right.
But if you do but it's jason@callforcongress.com.
Oh,
So
I'm
remember
gonna call
that.
your personal phone right now, brother.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Peace. Pepper, say hi. Pepper, say hi to the people. It's all about Pepper.
Okay, so listen, I want to dovetail with where this man just was, because I've seen that document, and there's a problem. When Shannon Angel is busy telling Frank Black that this is an illegal operation, the problem is she doesn't use the right number. She cites to a different number. She cites to license number 412691. These guys are license number 428651. And instead of working with him, here's the problem. There is nothing that this LCB, that this agency has hated more than co-ops and nickels. I'll say nickels in here, people who look like me. And you've shown it empirically. This goes back to the days when Art West busted you guys for withholding information and the clandestine meetings you were having in violation of the Public Meeting Act. And you were all running around down there in the South End, finding out ways to shut blacks down and all the medicals down there. And you had Jenny Durkin, like I said before. I know my partner, Anne Continelli, has interviewed Jenny about this. She was violating the Ogden memo the whole time. It's a fact. Sending out these go-to-hell letters to innocent people. And it's all because you were ushering in this new era, getting rid of the medical. And you know, when John Novak and I sued you over the lack of quality for medical people, you ran us over. And so you were getting rid of all the good medical that people like this man do. By the way, this man's my neighbor. And I used to live in Arlington. What a coincidence. Anyway, we'll talk about Arlington in a minute. So I was there last night talking with Attorney Staffney about some of the stuff that's going on in cannabis and mortgages. It's all the same racket. You disenfranchise honest people and give it to the crooks. And remember, I was a closing attorney in mortgages. Then I saw what was foul with that. And then I created mortgage movies where I started going to court to document this abuse. and I unwittingly voted for 502. Now I have a duty to correct that. Okay, because it was all set up just like the mortgage crisis to disfranchise people, and that's what you do as an agency. You want all your money, with Vicky Christopherson and all those guys. You want your money for your crony people, like the crony phony black narrative in Arlington, where I used to live, where you put Dennis Turner in there and propped him up like he's some kind of new messiah, golden child of the social equity era, when he's none but. And I showed you the litigation he was involved in, with all the hundreds of thousands of dollars that he's liable for, he and his buddies. I showed you that. You got no comment about that. And by the way, Arlington hasn't written me back about that either. But it's just a continuing pattern of abuse. And instead of trying to help Michael Schermerhorn, he is like about 1,000 feet. Instead of trying to help him, I already know that you're in litigation to fight him and run him over too. It's what you do. You don't know anything else, okay? And it's sad but true. You can't operate, you can't open anything new and to build success, as Sammy was talking about, when you're mired in obfuscation. Remember when Kevin Shelton was supposed to be part of your crew, and Nate Miles had to write that letter to Ollie Garrett with this return receipt here, that we never got an answer to what happened to that, okay? We can't see the CV of your director, and you're looking at me like it's my fault, okay? It's not. These are logical things that people ask for from public agencies. Can I see the CV of your CEO? Can I see the CV of your COO? This is common stuff, man. Jesus.
Christopher, you have 30 seconds.
I'll take all of it. Next. When I think about how many lives you've wrecked and continue to wreck with this money now in the 2870 that you're doling out in the most niggardly fashion, if I may say so, okay? That's all part of the plan of the conspiracy. And I don't have a tinfoil hat. I'm just a 60-year-old guy who was a state attorney, a closing attorney, a daily journalist, and I've seen a lot of things, but I've never seen an agency this corrupt.
Christopher, that's your time.
Good day.
Thank you. And that concludes our board meeting today. And thank you all. We will see you at the next board meeting. The meeting is now adjourned.